Guys, Planet Zoo came out 5 years ago. Feel old yet? What's up, guys? Popeye Pigs for Life here, and today we're here to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of Planet Zoo. Man, I still cannot believe that it has been 5 full years since this game came out, and it is by far one of my all-time favorite games. So to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of this amazing game, we're going to take an updated tour of Augustus Zoo. So for those of you who are new to the channel, Augustus Zoo is our African themed zoo, and the reason it's called Augustus Zoo is because once upon a time, during the days of the Roman Empire, there lived a man named Augustus. Augustus was a Christian, and he lived during the time where worshipping Jesus and practicing the religion of Christianity was illegal. So because that, he fled to Africa, and when he lived in Africa, he basically spent a lot of his life sabotaging various Roman hunting attempts that were used to capture animals that were going to be used in gladiatorial combat. So because that, we've decided to make a zoo in honor of that man. And so many years ago, we spent a lot of time building the zoo, which is mostly African animals, but there are a couple of Asian animals here. Since our last update, which was for the Eurasia pack, I have went back and made quite a lot of changes that would have been too long of an update video. So because that, what I ended up doing is I ended up making the changes off camera, and now we are going to just take a little bit of a tour just to catch up on what exactly I have changed as part of celebrating the 5-year anniversary. Oh, and while we're at it, we'll also get to see some new animals from the Zookeeper's Animal Pack. So, with all that being said, let's get started. So, this is where guests enter the zoo. To your left, you will see an enclosure for the reticulated giraffe, among many other animals. We were able to get quite a good view of them just now, which is awesome. And you can even still see a couple in the distance. We'll come back to this habitat, don't worry. If you go over here, we've got the spotted hyena enclosure. Let's see if we can see any over here. So, oh, there are a couple. Yeah, so there's 4 of them in here. So, by the way, I forgot to mention that this is based in the Serengeti. So, those countries include Tanzania, Kenya, Burundi, Rwanda, that sort of area. So, this first section is based solely around the local wildlife of the area. And so, in here, just taking a look into the mixed, Serengeti enclosure. Once again, pretty good view of the reticulated giraffes, as well as in the distance you can see a couple plain zebras. So then right over here, if we take a look, we have our first little guest section. So guests can come to this plaza, they can get a bite to eat at the pizza shop. So then what we're going to do is we're going to first go down this little area. We'll come back for the safari tour in just a little bit. And so right over here, one of the habitats that we have is for the Nile monitor. And you can see one right under the tree. So then if we go over here, what was previously the spotted hyena enclosure has now become the West African lion enclosure. So, you get a round 360 view of the lions, as well as an extra view into the main sort of Serengeti section. And here you can see the Nile lechwe. I should probably get out of the enclosure. So let's see. Where are the lions? Ooh! There is the alpha male. Alright, so then let's backtrack just a tad bit. We are going to see some other animals from the Serengeti region. So, for example, right up here we have the Nile monitors, obviously, as we have seen. This is the black rhinoceros enclosure, and sharing this little space, one of the newer animals, the Kirk's Dik-Dik. Oh, I thought you were able to see it over here, but no, that was just a cardboard box. Let's see. Oh, there's the Kirk's Dik-Dik. Right there. So yeah, so you've got this giant animal, but you've also got this teeny tiny animal that live in the same general area. If I'm not mistaken, let me just double, triple check. Yeah, so these guys live in Kenya. Ooh, is that a baby? Ooh, they did have a baby. Alright, so now it is time that we go onto this boardwalk. So, let's see. If we go up here, over here you can get a view into the hippopotamus enclosure. This used to also be the Nile lechwe enclosure, but I've decided to move them with some animals that they have interspecies bonus with. Another view into the lion enclosure. There's also like a little view over here, and oh, I forgot to connect this. Oops. Okay, so yeah, so the boat tour is a little bit out of order, but that's okay. So anyways, let's go on to the boardwalk. So right over here you can get another view of the black rhinos. Let's see. Ooh, over here you can get a much better view of the hippos. As you can see, I added in a little bit more water for them to dip in during the day. And then what used to be part of the old West African lion enclosure is now over here. Let's see. Where are they? I don't know, but you get a really good view into the shelter. Let's see if we can find them. Anything? Anything. Ooh, we have got the African painted dog, also called the African wild dog. I prefer to call them the painted dog because, well, they have a bit of a bad history when it comes to being called the African wild dog. So, in case you didn't know, people originally called them the African wild dog as a means of portraying them as these wild beasts that kill livestock. And obviously that's farther from the truth, but farmers and a lot of people living in painted dog territory wanted to portray them in that picture so that way it would encourage people to hunt them to near extinction. So moving on, what we're going to do is we're actually going to backtrack just a little bit. We're going to head back to the guest plaza. Oh, don't know how that happened. we're gonna head back to the guest plaza, and we're actually going to get on to the Jeep tour. This is just a little area to view the other animals. So yeah, so we're gonna get onto the African Safari tour. So right over here, as you can see, it's quite decked out. You go this way. Ooh, and perfect. Looks like there is a tour vehicle waiting for us. Alright guys, so we just got on the tour, and now we are heading out into the Serengeti section of the zoo. So, yeah, cruising along. You can get another view of the Nile monitor habitat from here. And now we will be heading into the Serengeti herbivore enclosure. So, let's see. If we go in here, right in here, you can see one of the reticulated giraffes that we have in this enclosure. Let's see. You can also see a lot of the African buffalo, the plain zebra, and the Nile lechways. And then here's the other species, which is the Thompson's gazelle. So yeah, so, oh boy. We're gonna be here a while, aren't we? So yeah, so those are the 5 animals in this enclosure, and you know what, now that we're stopped here, let's take a moment to just appreciate them. So we've got the reticulated giraffe in front of us, we've got one of the Thompson's gazelles, we have the African buffalo, the Nile lechway, and you can't really see them from here, but oh, you can see them right over there, the plain zebra. So yeah, so that's what I really love about this, is that it really just embodies Africa, which is what I love. Alright, it appears that we are finally on the move again. Let's see, right over here, you see another reticulated giraffe, you see a baby reticulated giraffe. Yeah, one of the things that I definitely fixed with this tour is I made it a little bit slower, so that way you can actually enjoy the animals. And I feel like I am really enjoying the animals. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, no, this is much better. Like, it's not like stupidly slow, but it's not crazy fast either. Oh! African buffalo crossing. Oh no, not again. Not again. Okay, thank God. I was gonna say, please don't tell me we have to stop again. So yeah, so that's pretty much all of the animals in the Serengeti section, or almost all the animals. But pretty much most of the animals in the Serengeti section. So because of that, what we're gonna do is we're going to move on to the Horn of Africa. So the Horn of Africa is the region in Africa that includes countries such as Somalia and Ethiopia, among others. So in this first enclosure, you can see the towering North African architecture. And so if we go in here, you will be able to see, let's see, yep, right over there we've got the African elephants. And then we've got a couple of Hamadryas baboons. Nice little troop. Ooh, you can see one right over there. Ooh, and I think that's the big male. That might be the male. Yeah, I think that's the male. And you can see quite a lot of elephants, which is nice. And then this is the enclosure for the Somali wild ass and dromedary camel. So now, this tour does go through one more enclosure, then it goes back into the elephant enclosure, and then back to the start of the tour. But we'll be able to see that third enclosure later, in the zoo, so because of that, we're going to get off right here. Alright, so now we are entering the guest section for the Horn of Africa, where we've got a really nice sort of mosaic tile pattern over here. Thinking about it, I probably could have added some benches. You see, now that I'm, like, with the guests, I can see the things that I need to improve on. And right here, we've got the striped hyena enclosure. Let me see. Yeah, you can get a pretty good view of the striped hyenas. You can get a view of a couple of the babies, too. And so there's also some viewing domes throughout the enclosure. So then, if we go over here, we're going to cross this bridge over. You can see a lot of, like, guest facilities, too, especially along the river. I really love what I did here. And then another animal, or a couple of animals that I added, are from the Barnyard Animal Pack. I added a little bit of a petting zoo that has some of these Sussex Chickens, Hill Radnor Sheep, and Alpine Goats. Because this place is, like, very agricultural. There's a lot of, like, ranchers in these parts. And one thing I especially love are these albino goats, which I think are considered piebalds. So yeah. Yeah, so you can walk all over the place. And then right over here, we've got an enclosure for the African crested porcupine, and they're sharing it with the African spurred tortoise. So let's just mosey on in here. We've got the African spurred tortoise right here. The newest, or one of the newest additions to the game. And then somewhere in here there should also be, ooh, there's one coming out of the burrow. There should also be some African crested porcupines. Ooh, is this a baby? Oh my gosh, I think it's a baby. It is a baby. Let's see, right in here is where we've got the African crested porcupines. They're taking a little bit of a sleep. So now moving on, that's pretty much going to do it for the Horn of Africa. So now we are going to be heading into the Kalahari. So the Kalahari is in the southwest of Africa. So let's see, we've got this little guest section over here where you can get some more pizza, you can use the restroom. And then right over here, we have, I believe, our mixed enclosure for springbok, blue wildebeest, and gemsbok. So you can see quite a lot of blue wildebeest over here. You can see the gemsbok too, and you can see some of the springbok. So yeah, so the gemsbok were originally in the desert section. That was like sort of an all-encompassing desert section. But I've decided to put them in the Kalahari section. Basically what I did is I pretty much split up Africa into the different ecoregions. So we have the Serengeti, we have the Horn of Africa. And then, quickly, what we're going to do is we're going to head this way. So yeah, so we have the Serengeti, the Kalahari, the Horn of Africa, and now we are going to head east of the Kalahari into Mozambique. So that's one of the countries in this region. And here we've got a lot of hoofstock. So, one of which being the blue wildebeest over there. So then, if we keep going along this trail, there isn't really, like, too much to this area. It's sort of like a sub-region, more. But if we keep going over here, it's a bit of a long walk. But right over here, The 4 animals we've gotten here are the southern white rhino, the sable antelope, the Nyala, and the black wildebeest. Let's see if we can see them. Let's see, we got the black wildebeest over here, we got a lot of sable antelope, southern white rhino, and then somewhere in here should be the Nyala. Where are the Nyalas? Are you a Nyala? Where are the Nyalas? Okay, we have 8 Nyalas, so I have no idea where they are. Let's see. Nyalas, Nyalas, Nyalas. Oh, I think there's a Nyala over here. Okay, there's a Nyala. No, these are all black wildebeest. That's a black wildebeest. There's a Nyala. Okay. I want to see if we can find the male. Ah! Watch out for the rhino. Let's see. I want to see if I can find the male. There's nothing over here. Yeah, there aren't really too many methods of viewing the animals in this enclosure. And then right over here, we've got another smaller guest section, and this is another view into the spotted hyena enclosure. So, with the spotted hyena enclosure, this is an example of what I like to call a segue enclosure. And basically, how I like to describe it is animals that live in more than one section of a continent, and as a result, their habitats can be seen from multiple areas. So for example, the hyenas can be found all over Africa. So there's one way of seeing them over at the Serengeti area, and you can also see them over here. And so there's a couple more of these, and to see them, we have to go all the way back. And normally I would speed this up or cut this out of the video, but I want to see if we can get one more look at some of the hoofstock. A lot of sables, a lot of black wildebeest, not enough Nyalas. Ooh, right here you can get a good view of some of the female Nyalas. As well as I think that's a baby. Alright, so if we go back, I also want to see if I can get a good, much better view of the springbok, because there should be quite a lot of them. Oh, you can see one right over here. This is the baby, and then this is one of the females. So yeah. And then you've got the blue wildebeest, the gemsbok, more springbok. We already saw all these guys. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to head this way. And so this is actually gonna lead us back to the Serengeti section. But in doing so, you get a couple views of some of the animals. So right in here, we've got the aardvark and meerkat enclosure. So we've got the aardvarks right here. Right over here, we've got the aardvarks. We've got a little baby aardvark. Oh, here's a meerkat. Perfect. Alright, I'm just gonna preface this. Please do not go into animal enclosures if you cannot get a good view. I am a trained professional, and this is my zoo. And right over here, we don't even need to go into the enclosure because we have an enclosure for the cheetahs. And man, they have had quite a lot of cubs. Which is awesome because cheetahs are awesome. And so the cheetahs are another one of the segue animals because they are found both in the Kalahari and in the Serengeti, which is what we are entering right now. And so then, this is the other habitat that the tour goes through, and this is for both the common ostrich and the common warthog. Once again, another segue enclosure because these guys can be found in both the Serengeti as well as the Horn of Africa. So, with that being said, that is pretty much it for the main African safari section. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head back this way. We're going to head past the Nile Monitor enclosure. And we're also going to head past the West African lion enclosure. Oh yeah, I need to fix these because our entire previous lion pride passed away. So I had to buy more lions. So yeah, so now they're all in here, living life. So yeah, so here's the entrance of the boat tour. We're probably not gonna go on it, because you can't really see many animals in there. This is sort of like a walkthrough museum, so this is like a little bit about like African culture, so you get to learn about like the way of life of indigenous Africans, and you can get another view of the Serengeti herbivore enclosure. So now we are going to be moving into the tropics. So this is the Congo. So the Congo River Basin, right up here, you've got a boardwalk that overlooks the Okapi and Bongo enclosure. So you can see a couple of the Okapis in here, as well as the Bongos. Let's see, this just kind of goes around. There's not much to see there. But if we go over here, one of the things that has changed is, as you can see, the boardwalk goes up a little bit. That is because right over here, we have got an enclosure for the African leopard. And you can see them sleeping right there. A couple of their cubs in tow. And so, I decided not to do a segue enclosure because there's plenty of other predators throughout Africa, but there aren't really many for the Congo. Okay, so while we're down here, what I think we're going to do is we're going to head in to the ape house. So, I kind of like the idea of this zoo having a couple more, like, rustic elements, and I feel like this is one such element. So, right in here, we've got enclosures for the western lowland gorillas over here. We've got an enclosure for the bonobos. Oh, and you can see one. Oh, you can see a baby right over there. Oh, you can see two babies, actually, which is really awesome. And then the western chimpanzee is in here. And again, you can see one of the babies. So then if we go up here, this is just a viewing area for up here. Yeah, that pretty much sums that up. Alright, so now moving on, we're going to head back out. Don't worry, we'll be able to see some of the primates, or the apes, I should say. We'll be able to see the apes, in their outdoor enclosures, hopefully. And then right over here, we have got the enclosure for the Red River hogs and the mandrills. Let me see if I can find the mandrills. So now, they used to be able to go into what is now the African leopard enclosure, but I decided that I had to make it a little bit smaller because, first of all, they're small animals, so they can handle it, but also I needed to make room for the African leopards. Okay, so now, moving on. We're going to head to the Sahara section a little shortly, but instead we are going to take a look at some of the apes, and hopefully we can actually see them. Yeah, again, I'm just gonna go in the enclosure. Uh-oh, floating foliage. It's fine. It's no big deal. See the chimpanzees right over here. See the bonobos right over here. And then right over here, we've got the western lowland gorillas. Alright. So then, nothing that really goes there. So because that, we're going to head this way, so that way we can go into the Sahara region. Alright guys, so we are now entering the Sahara section of the zoo, and right up ahead, you can see one of the changes I made. So originally, this used to be where the Gemsbok were, but what I instead decided to do is I made a bridge over here, and I decided to make a little canyon. And right in here you can see we have a mixed enclosure. We've got the Dama Gazelle, we've got the Addax, and we've got the Scimitar Horned Oryx. All animals that used to live in the Sahara Desert, and they still do in little pockets, but they have mostly, unfortunately, become extinct throughout most of their native range, which is quite sad. Right here, we've got an enclosure for the Egyptian fruit bat. And then right over here, we have got enclosures for the fennec fox, wherever they may be. Ooh, here are the fennec foxes. Right in here, we've got an enclosure for the caracal. Nothing has changed over here. Let's see if we can spot them. There's one right here. Oh, we only have one caracal. Okay. And then, let's see if we go over here. I also decided to add in 2 exhibits. So over here we have the Sacred Scarab Beetle. And over here we have the Desert Horned Viper. I think that's what they're called. And then right in here we've got the Sand Cat. Is this a little kibby? It is a little kibby. Personally, I'm more of a dog person, but they're still really cool animals. And then right in here, although they don't live in the Sahara Desert, we have the Bactrian camel because, well, they are pretty useful throughout desert travel. Probably would have been fitting to put in the dromedary, but I wanted to put them with the Somali wild ass in the Horn of Africa section. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to segue into India. So, India was also very important during this time. You've got another little viewing opportunity for the Bactrian camel. See one of the babies. And then right over here, hang on, if we go this way, this just leads to the boat tour. The boat tour is honestly just a mode of transportation. There are a couple animals you can see, but we will see them shortly. You've got a little Indian marketplace, where, you know, you can get a bite to eat, get a souvenir. Right over here, one of the animals you can see on the little tour is the gharials. Right, and here we've got a walkthrough enclosure for the Indian peafowl. Cool stuff. Let's see, another view into the Gario enclosure. Right over here. Can you see them in here? Maybe? I don't know, but this is the Bengal tiger enclosure. Ooh, see him right over there. See Dad and one of the babies. Alright, so these guys will hopefully be able to see on the other side. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to be entering the Himalayan Dome. Or, not the Himalayan Dome. So it used to be the Himalayan Dome, but it has since been changed to the Himalayan House. And it's this giant sort of discovery center. This is where you can rent out like a jacket because it's going to get really chilly in there. Got some education banners, some conservation little education things. And this is where a lot of changes have been made. So, let's see. Which way do we want to go? I want to go this way first. So, right over here, this is the takin enclosure. But, in with the takins, you can see the Markhors, aka an animal that I've wanted in the game since the very beginning, that we finally got added. Oh, I can't really see them. There we go. So we got the Markhors in here. Let's go this way a little bit. Oh, it's a little bit tricky to walk through here. It's fine. We'll just go through the enclosure. Ooh, this is a very nice view of the male. The big male. For those of you who have been to the Stone Zoo, then those are one of the animals that are at the Stone Zoo. Right over here we have the snow leopard enclosure. Not much change since the last update. Let's see if we can find them. Alright, so right over here is a really nice view of the snow leopards. Again, another animal I know far too well from practically growing up at the Stone Zoo. And then right over here, we've got the Himalayan brown bear. Oh, this one's in the little privacy area. And then one of the changes that has been made to this area of the zoo is this habitat for the Pallas cat. Look at the little kibbies! Oh, these guys are adorable. And then right over here, again, not much has changed. This is just the red panda enclosure. I did make it a little bit smaller so that we could squeeze in the Pallas cat. But other than that, not much has changed since the last update. Alright, so right here, we go down the stairs. Obviously, another view into the Pallas cat enclosure. And now we will be heading out in this direction. And it's pretty much just a replica of the entrance, the other entrance. Got some restrooms, got a place where you can return your coat. It can be washed and someone else can wear it. And then when we come out over here, we are going to take a look at the sloth bear enclosure. So you can see a sloth bear right over there. And then one of the newer additions that's been in the game for quite some time now that I decided to add recently is the Wild Boar. So let's see if we can see them in here. Ooh, perfect. And they've already been having a lot of offspring. So yeah, so Wild Boar is one of those animals where it can really fit into any eco-region, as long as it's native. You know, we don't want any invasive species now, do we? A little boardwalk, and then there's an extension to the boardwalk that goes over the Bengal tiger enclosure, and here we can get a much better view of the Bengal tigers. Alright, so now the final little touch, the final stretch. We walk over here. Right over here. This is an enclosure for the greater flamingos as well as the wild water buffalo. And this is one of the enclosures that can be seen on the boat tour. And right over here is the last little section where we've got another little market area where you can get a quick bite to eat and you can sit back and relax. Let's see. All the water buffalo seem to be resting over here. So yeah, so obviously after going through this zoo, I've definitely noticed some things that I do need to improve upon. But with that being said, that is pretty much going to wrap up today's tour. I honestly really enjoyed going back and fixing up the zoo with the different ecoregions of Africa, and I think that Augustus Zoo, what it is now, is by far the best that it has ever been. So yeah, with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see some more Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 2 content. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.